man, the food here sucks.
We have to pay for this?
What did you just say?
You heard me, I said this food sucks! You expect us to eat this stuff?
What do you mean it sucks?
This pepper beef is too damn spicy!
What are you talking about? This is good. You. No. Put more anger into it. Yeah, that's more like it. Lower your stance a bit more and...
Martial Law was a successful businessman. He managed a newly established dojo and owned a successful nationwide Chinese fast food chain called Martial China. Unfortunately, he lost a franchise war against a competing restaurant chain and had to declare bankruptcy a year later. Unable to cope with failure, Marshall fell into depression and spent his days at home on his couch in a drunken haze. Then one day, a notice for the tournament arrived at his doorstep. Marshall's eyes flashed with renewed vigor. After a month of intense training, he beat himself back into top physical form. This is it, he said to himself. It's all or nothing. The fire within him raged hotter than ever before. Realizing that her native homeland would soon be in danger of the encroaching desert, Julia began her research on ecosystem restoration in hopes of saving it. The research group she joined was funded exclusively by G Corporation. In fact, all research was conducted at G Corporation's maximum security labs, and all data was stored there as well. However, one day the project was placed on indefinite hold. The Mishima Zaibatsu had attacked G Corporation's maximum security labs and stolen all the research data. Julia neither knew nor cared about the Mishima Zaibatsu, but in order to prevent her home from becoming a desert in a few years' time, she had to retrieve the research data. Julia searched the net for information on the Mishima Zaibatsu. Her eyes lit up when she saw a webpage announcing the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4. Back in his homeland of Korea, Hwoarang was drafted into the military and assigned to a Spec Ops unit. Although his success in various missions was highly regarded, his penchant for disobeying rules and orders gave his senior officers more than a few headaches. Hwoarang felt a strange emptiness within him. He recalled longingly of the days hustling money in street fights, the rush of hand-to-hand combat, and his fight against Jin Kazama. The military could not quell these yearnings. One day, the announcement of the next tournament reached Hwoarang's ears. For the first time in years, his blood began to stir. He would defeat Jin, Heihachi Mishima, and anyone else who dared to stand in his way of bursting with anticipation, Hwoarang slipped out from the military base and headed for the tournament. Eddy Gordo learned capoeira from a master during his imprisonment. This master had a granddaughter named Christie. While in prison, Eddy swore an oath to him that he would pass on the art of capoeira to Christie. Shortly after returning from the King of Iron Fist Tournament 3, Eddy took Christie under his wing and taught her the art of capoeira, just as he promised. She became an impressive fighter after 2 years of training. But Eddy left abruptly soon thereafter. Those responsible for my father's death must pay. His words were all that was left behind for Christie. Troubled by his sudden and mysterious disappearance, Christie pursued Eddy. Her only lead, the King of Iron Fist Tournament 2. Violet was the majority shareholder and de facto leader of a manufacturer for humanoid robots. He was apparently a fighter in the past, but now lived a quiet life in a mansion in the Bahamas. Bored by his carefree lifestyle, Violet decided to enter the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4. There was another significant reason for his entry into the tournament. Violet believed that he could turn his humanoid robots into the ultimate fighting weapons. He believed in a utopian world where inorganic humanoids would carry out the will of their human masters. Violet accelerated the development of a prototype for the tournament. If completed in time, the tournament would be an excellent PR opportunity. Violet's mind was filled with visions of dominating the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4. Steve was a young British boxer enjoying his run as the middleweight champion of the world. Adopted during infancy, Steve sought the identity of his biological parents, as well as the origin of the scar on his arm. One day, Steve was ordered by a mafia group to throw a high-stakes fight, but he refused and instead won the fight. Unfortunately, the mafia made good on their threats and put a price on Steve's head. With the mafia in hot pursuit, Steve fled England for the United States and led a life on the run. But Steve soon realized that no matter what he did, the mafia would eventually catch and kill him. He would never learn the truth of his past. Motivated by this realization, Steve sought the limelight once again and entered the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4. After the King of Iron Fist Tournament 2, the Mishima Zaibatsu used Nina as a test subject for experimental cryogenics research. 15 years later, Nina was released from cryosleep to fight in the third tournament. She fought in the tournament while suffering from cryosleep-induced amnesia. Since then, Nina escaped from the reaches of the Mishima Zaibatsu and spent her days carrying out missions as a contract assassin. To this day, she has been unable to regain memories of Anna or her previous life. Without memories or anyone to rely on, the only thing she could do was to execute her contracts for money. Lei's life was consumed by police work as usual. Unfortunately for Lei, his live-in girlfriend got fed up with his workaholic lifestyle and dumped him in favor of Lei's assistant. Lei was devastated. Around the same time, Lei botched an operation to bring a crime syndicate to justice. The failure cost the police force 2 years' worth of intense undercover investigation work. Lei's rivals in the force secretly reported to his superiors that he botched the operation by allowing personal affairs to affect his job performance. As a result, Lei wound up with a 1-month suspension. During his suspension, Lei learned from an informant that an assassin was hired by the syndicate to murder a certain boxer participating in the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4. Lei enters the tournament in hopes of redeeming his honor.